Alright, here we go for pack number 3. And this is another very easy pick. When you're in mono red, Cough of the Hammer is like one of the number one cards you want to pick up, besides maybe Sulfuric Vortex. Koth is just insane. Even if you're not in mono red, having any mountains in your deck whatsoever makes Koth really, really good. Just a 4 mana, 4 power haste that can't be killed by board wipes. There's really not a whole lot that needs to be said about it. It's just very, very good. Right here, the only thing that really sticks out is Scalding Tarn and possibly Price of Progress, which I'm not a big fan of unless we're playing against some ridiculous, like, mega dual land deck, which I don't think is going to happen. So I'm going to take the pretty unexciting option with Scalding Tarn, which makes our blue splash like almost impossible to not run because of Scalding Tarn and 3 lands that fetch red. Right here, there's an Arc Trail and a Stormblood Berserker. There's also a Molten Rain, which is probably not at the same level as the other two, although it is very good. And here I think I'm going to take the Stormblood Berserker because I have 3 different 1-drops, which makes it very good, and I'm going to hopefully pick up 1 or 2 more by the end of this. And here there's a Lightning Mauler, which is pretty good. At worst you can pair it to a 1-drop and swing for 4 on turn 2. At best, you can just leave it sitting there and then swing with a Hasty Inferno Titan, which is obviously very good. Also a Phantasmal Image if we continue splashing blue, but not on the same level as Lightning Mauler in my opinion, and we already have the Vesuvan Shapeshifter if we wanted to. So yeah, take the Lightning Mauler. Also notably in this cube, I've already taken 3 of the 4 possible red fetch lands, and we did see the 4th, which was the Wooded Foothills earlier on, which I thought was interesting. Right here there's an Avalanche Riders, which is fine as a haste guy, but not quite as good as Koth. There's also a Chandra, which I don't think is as good in this cube as it is in other formats. But yeah, I'll just take the Avalanche Riders. It's the same thing as Goblin Ruin Blaster basically, but you don't have the option to play it on turn 3 instead of turn 4. Although obviously you do want to be playing both on turn 4. And we are kind of low on 4 drops, so not a bad pickup. Right here there's a Jackal Pup, which is possibly not as good as Devil's Play, I'm not really sure, but simply because of the Stormblood Berserker and the fact that we only have 10 creatures at the moment, I decided to go with the Jackal Pup. And now we're sitting at 4 1-drop red creatures with 2 power, which is very strong, and the Stormblood Berserker and some creatures to back it up on turn 2, so we're looking pretty good. And unlike most traditional red decks, we have some good late game. So even if we stall out, we have a pretty good chance, so I'm liking my chances here. Alright, here there's a Sacred Foundry, which is fine if we want to splash like our Faith's Fetters or anything like that. But there's also an Earthquake, which I'm pretty strongly considering. Because even though we have a bunch of low drop creatures, it is a burn spell that we need to finish the game. Alright, this is not a hard pick at all. We just Windmill Slam the Bloodbraid Elf and hope to be able to splash green, even though only one of our fetch lands get the Tropical Island, which is too bad. We'll hope to get that Stomping Ground pack in the pack that is coming around in the next few picks. But yeah, Bloodbraid Elf in a deck where you have like 10-15 different 1-3 drops is very strong. And here we'll just take an Ember Hauler because there's nothing else out of this pack, and it's a very strong 2-drop. So our early game is looking very good now. Now the number one thing we want is a way to splash green and blue. There's a Multitail Masticore, which I'm not going to play, or Price of Progress, which I might play, even though I don't want to. Most likely just going to sideboard it. And even though Arc Trail and Molten Rain are in this pack, this is another very easy pick. We'll take Stomping Ground, which makes it super easy to splash Bloodbraid Elf. Alright, there's a Boros Garrison, which I'm not going to play, so I'll steal the Obliterator, because that's a 1 card that's very hard to play against. Frenzied Goblin is very strong. You don't always have to play it on turn 1, but late game, if you have something like Inferno Titan or another fatty that you want to get through on the board, you can punch it through. Not too difficult. So right now we're sitting on, it looks like 26 playables. We have 8 lands out of 33. That's 25 playables, which is pretty good. Not sure what we're going to cut out of it quite yet. And we get a Sacred Foundry if you want to splash, or sideboard in our Faith's Fetters, so let's take a look. There's actually 26 playables I'm looking at here. Good number of creatures, so I don't really want to cut any of them. And on that note, I'll take out the Earthquake because it's not very good when you have a bunch of low drop guys, possibly just sided in against other aggro strategies. Also looking at the Prophetic Bolt in case I want to make my mana easier, but that seems wrong because it's a very good late game burn spell. Also take out the Chaos Warp because, like I said, it's more of like a 23rd if you need it kind of card, which I don't really want to play with. And the Fire Spout, which I'm also looking at because I'm looking at the Bloodbraid Elf. I want to have as many targets for it as possible, but Fire Spout actually doesn't combo with it because you don't pay any mana to cast it, so it will do nothing. So looks like that's going to be my last cut. Yep, and also for that same reason, Earthquake is not good off of Cascade. So yeah, there's 23. We have a good suite of early game burn, early game creatures, good splashes with Bloodbraid Elf and Prophetic Bolt. So yeah, I'll take in my 3 fetch lands and 2 dual lands that I can fetch with them. I also forgot to bring in the Karplescent Forest, but I noticed that right before I went to game 1, so don't worry about that, I fixed that. I'll just add some basic mountains, don't need any forests because I already have 4 different ways to draw into Stomping Ground basically with the fetch lands. And for some reason MTGO didn't suggest enough basic mountains, so go up to 17 lands, and yep, we're looking pretty good right now, and let's just hope that it goes well for us.